So welcome to the third part of the Australian launch site series. I already published 2 parts from Cairns and from Brisbane, and now it goes down a little bit further to the south. If you remember, in the first part I mentioned the National Site Guide. It's a very helpful website about Australian paragliding areas for the pilot's orientation. So here I show it one more time again. The site guide also has an KML edition so that we can zoom in to the area the next 2 episodes will cover. Now in part 3 the trip will continue from Portland to Johanna, covering most of the sites along the road. So a nice walk of about 1.2 kilometers from the Bridgewater Lakes parking to the beach. The entrance to the beach is across the dunes, where already a possible takeoff place is visible. So this is now the Discovery Bay paragliding area. The dunes here are about 20 to 30 meters high. Takeoff actually is possible everywhere on the dunes here. As there's not much vegetation, the dunes are perfect for handling up and taking off. So if there's a wind of 20 to 25 kilometers an hour, I think they are very good flyable. The whole ridge might be about... The ridge is more than 10 kilometers long. And today we have unfortunately the wind coming from the east. So this is more a southwest exposure what we find here. If we look towards that side, we find the right speed paragliding launch and takeoff. Also a coastal cliff area with maybe 30 to 40 meter high cliffs. The difference to the Discovery Bay here is that it's directed to the west. While on the left hand side we see the Discovery Bay, here in the front there is the White Beach. It is a small bay that can be accessed by Armours Road. The takeoff can be done along the ridge facing northwest. Landing is only possible directly at the beach. According to the local paragliding club, this area is not flown very much. Maybe this is due to the situation that there is no emergency landing possibility anywhere, and the site might be not as attractive as Murrell Beach, which we will be visiting later. From Discovery Bay, it is 10 minutes by car to Cape Bridgewater. Here we see 3 takeoffs. The Bridgewater takeoff itself, the Gull Cliffs, and over there we see the Bishop's Rock. Bridgewater Bay provides a soaring ridge which faces like an U to the southeast. Officially the takeoff is at Cape Bridgewater, where I'm at the moment, but you can take off wherever you want, because in 95% of the places it's enough dune height to do hang soaring here. Same as at Discovery Bay, the dunes are about 15 to 20 meters high. A little bit off the track of the Great Southwest Walk, which is starting at Cape Bridgewater, we can see on the right hand side the Cape Bridgewater Gull Cliffs. While the cliffs are facing to the east-northeast, the ridge on the right hand side here is facing to the east. It is about half an hour's walk to the cliffs from Cape Bridgewater. Launching here means that there are no options for landing at the beach. Top landing is mandatory, or alternatively, the beach at Cape Bridgewater, which is about 1 kilometer away. The cliffs are as high as 120 meters and the ridge is about 1 kilometer long. The takeoff is right at the start of the last third of the summit. This is now the Bishop's Rock. Takeoff and launch site. It is, as it says, it's a rock. At Bishop's Rock, the pilot is able to get out to the ridge easily. Parking is right behind the access to the rock. To both sides of the rock, the ridge is flyable. The dunes here are about 20 meters high. According to the site guide, this launch site might be tricky if the wind is too low. Launching directly from the front of the rock is not advisable. On the right hand side here, we can see a possible takeoff. A final view from the Bishop's Rock to the east. In the Bridgewater Bay, east of Bishop's Rock, there is Murrell Beach. The site is facing from southwest to northwest. According to the site guide, takeoffs are easy to handle and there is landing possibilities on top and at the beach. The site is suitable for all pilots' ratings. I think this is the reason why White's Beach Amos Road, which is facing the same direction, is not flown so much. Let's move to the next destination, Portland itself. From a car park next to the Princess Highway to the takeoff site called Duddons Way. As it is privately owned land and I'm only on a rush through, I'm not able to get directly to the soaring ridge. The site is facing southeast. It is a little bit more than 500 meters long and very flat. It is only soarable in strong wind conditions. From Duddons Way, Portland is already visible. Directly in Portland there are also two takeoffs. One of them is a 2 kilometer long ridge pointing to the northeast. The cliffs are about 30 meters high and the takeoff is near the golf course. The second paragliding area in Portland is around the lighthouse, where in front of the hospital at Nuns Beach, an eastern-facing ridge is available. Takeoff is at the cliffs directly next to the hospital. I was only able to stay a couple of hours in Portland Peninsula, so some of the video material is not as good as it should be, and I had to use a lot of Google Earth to support the clips. But I hope I still could give a good impression about the paragliding area. I think it's a great place for coastal soaring. It works in all wind conditions except of north wind, if the wind is strong enough. Well, now let's continue to the next stations along the coastal trip. First station after Portland, on the way of the Great Ocean Road, we find Warrnambool, where on both sides of the Hopkins River paragliding is possible. Here we are now at Point Ridges. On the right hand side of Hopkins River at Point Ridges, there is a takeoff to the southwest from where you can reach a 1 kilometer long strip with about 10 meter high dunes. Looking eastward from Ridges Point to the other side of Hopkins River, we can see Logan's Beach, the second coastal soaring strip in Warrnambool. Logan's Beach is ideal for south wind conditions and also the takeoff is facing south. According to the local club, wind conditions are very often from west and the site is not flyable. Heading further down the Great Ocean Road and passing the 12 Apostles, a remote place called Johanna is the next and final destination of this video. Well, here I'm now at the Johanna takeoff. It is a 500 meters walk from the car park through this forest here. And well, looks good. It's 9:30 in the morning, the wind is not strong yet. The takeoff is facing south, and the altitude of the dune at the takeoff is about 60 meters. West of the takeoff we can see rough coastal hills up to more than 200 meters. East of the takeoff the dunes are lower, about 25 to 30 meters at the car park. Landing is done on the beach, and the total flyable ridge depends on the conditions. While the main ridge is about 2 kilometers long, in good conditions there had already been flights 5 to 10 kilometers down the dunes. The takeoff looks quite easy and straightforward. The local paragliding club warns to keep enough speed during takeoff. It might be more demanding than it looks. There's also a warning in high tide. Landing at the beach at some areas might not be possible due to the water directly at the rocks. Next to the takeoff there's a camping area where we have toilet facilities and picnic areas. From here we can see down to the low dunes next to the car park. While the paragliding area around the takeoff is for intermediate pilots, the low dunes are also considered suitable for students. The whole area is a great place where training and ground handling is possible. Along the Great Ocean Road from Portland to Johanna, the distance is about 250 kilometers. There are plenty of paragliding spots, and in the next video we will continue from Apollo Bay to Phillip Island.